Hi, good morning. Thanks for coming out. The time is now 9 a.m., December 6, 2024. I call to order this special meeting of the Oconee County Council. Let's begin with a moment of silence. Mr. Reed, would you lead us in a moment of silence?
Yes, sir. Pray if you'd like to. Dear Father, thank you for this new day, this beautiful morning. I just pray that you'd have your way this day in this meeting, have your way in our lives, that we'd follow you, keeping you always in front of us, following your lead, to do goodness, to love our neighbor, to love you and to follow you. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Mr. Reed. Ms. Amanda Brock, would you lead us in pledge?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have county attorney comments. Mr. David Root.
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Have none. Thank you, Mr. Root. Ms. Amanda Brock.
I have none either, sir. Thank you.
None. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have public comment session. If you'd like to speak, you have 5 minutes. At 4-minute sign, I'll hold up the yellow sign. 5 minutes, hold up the red stop sign. Please keep the comments related to county business. And if you've not spoken before, it's not a out and back, just, we'll have public comment, then we'll follow that up with council comment.
Miss Catherine Oaks.
Thank you for having me. I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Davis for your service for District 4 for the past 8 years. You have shown great leadership. You've shown what it means to be a true public servant and been a great role model for our youth. And thank you for all your volunteer work in the county. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time on council. So, thank you.
That's all we have.
Anyone else like to speak? Next, we have council member comment session.
Yes, sir. On the way up here, I got a call from someone that was dumping trash at the landfill and having to back in. And they're complaining that this is the second time or third time that they've had punctured tires. And they want to know who's in charge of that and why we got to back through the trash that's already been thrown out with nails sticking up. So I told him I'd make the administration aware of this today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, we're gonna move on to public hearing for the following ordinances. We have one public hearing. This is for ordinance 2024-24. An ordinance authorizing pursuant to Title 12, Chapter 44 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina, 1976, as amended, the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and special source revenue credit to Mine America, formerly known as Project Mayflower, by and between Oconee County, South Carolina, acting for itself, one or more current or future affiliates, and other project companies, collectively company, providing for a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes incentive, providing for a special source revenue credit, designating the property of the project as a multi-county industrial park, authorizing the execution and delivery of one or more grant agreements, authorizing the execution and delivery of a purchase and sale agreement related to the conveyance of certain real estate for Project Mayflower and other related matters.
We have no speakers.
No speakers, would anyone like to speak? All right, hearing none, I close public hearing for ordinance 2024-24. And now we have third reading final vote for ordinance 2024-24. I'm not gonna reread it, just read for public hearing, and it's only monitored.
Approved.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Davis, second by Mr. Elliott. Any comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
We have second reading of two ordinances. First one being ordinance 2024-26, an ordinance establishing the Cornish-Shiloh Special Purpose Tax District for fire protection, establishing the Cornish-Shiloh Special Purpose Tax District Commission, and other related matters.
So moved. Second.
Motion, Mr. Elliott, second, Mr. Hart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0.
Now we have ordinance 2024-27, an ordinance to supplement ordinance 2024-05, which appropriated and authorized the expenditure of $56,000 of funding under the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for the Seneca Library ADA ramp project by appropriating an additional $90,173.50 so that the total appropriation and authorization for the expenditures for the Seneca Library ADA ramp project equals $146,173.50 and other matters related thereto.
So moved.
Have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
All right, we have a second. Discussion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I don't know if y'all received the plans that I emailed a couple of you to look at. They want to replace a 5-foot sidewalk with another 5-foot sidewalk. And, I guarantee you, we spent more money on the engineering plans than it'll take to make it to where it's ADA, accessible, because there's a sidewalk there that would serve for that ramp. All we need to do is scrape the dirt away from the sidewalk, put asphalt there, and just people pull in there and mark. And we getting how many? 2 handicap parking places
Yes, sir.
for roughly, say, $150,000. I don't want my name associated with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any other comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. And, Ms. Brock, did you receive an email from a fellow with a proposal for an elevator?
It was not a proposal, it was just an email that stated he sold elevators, but there was no proposal. I did receive the email, I forwarded it to the procurement director. With or without the elevator, there's still site work that needs to be done, which I believe the procurement director and the library director are looking into, but it was not a proposal. It was a hello, we sell elevators. Yes, sir, I did receive that.
Okay. I took a look at the attachment. I didn't
Yes.
know if that was something that would be even feasible for
It
this
may be.
application.
It may be.
Okay.
There's still site work that would have to be completed. If the lift were to be put in, there would have to be some amendment to the building structure, because in inclement weather or rain, if someone was in a wheelchair and it was exterior, they would be in the weather the
That's
whole
right.
time. But I did send that to the procurement director and to the library director to look at.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we at least took it under consideration.
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
my recommendation, just looking at the plans, this is more than just the ramp. There's a lot of exterior, there's some interior work and things like that. But, my recommendation stays that council needs to look at, number one, complete replacement of the library. I know $146,000 is probably a couple of bricks for a new one, but, we've spent a lot of money trying to keep that library where it needs to be. There needs to be a total assessment done if council decides to keep that same library open, period. That a study could be done to look and say, okay, what's a new library cost, or what's a combo facility cost? Because to me, as this county grows, I believe there is a need for an additional county office location where that area, part of District 5, part of District 4 can go, and District 3 can obviously go and handle some of the business, some of the easier side of the business is done. I don't see anything more than tag and tax payment being put over there. But, I mean, to me, I think it's a good thing. Y'all are going into strategic planning in February to really think about that. And if y'all are not interested in just the ramp, and it's not just a ramp, looking at the project, but all too often we get people after we've bid something, oh, I've got a piece of equipment that's cheaper, oh, I got something, and it's a totally different project. I'm not saying with this one, but from what that gentleman said, I know him personally, there is probably something that could be used or somebody that, could help with the cost on this. But my advice would be, if y'all decide to not vote on this and move on, you need to look at the whole library. I know, Mr. Mize, that's your district. You need to look at the library, have somebody take you up there. Mr. Blair can take you through there and show you what all needs to be done on there. It's a lot. And then decide what council wants to do moving forward. So if we decide to kill this, it's fine. I don't think it's the end of the library. It just is a difficult manner to try to get into it for the handicap. Is this expensive cost? Yeah, I think it's over cost, but it is what it is. I mean, there's been times I've disagreed with what things have cost and looked into them, and we waited a couple of years and it was more. So just a thought moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Brock, do we know what the volume in a month is at the library?
I have a report that indicates that, yes, sir. I just want to remind council and the public as well, you're not voting on the bid for the ramp. This is for the expenditure of ARPA funds. So if there would be an amendment to the design or an amendment to the bid, that still has to come back and be approved by council. This is the ordinance required for the expenditure of the ARPA funds, which does not designate that we're forced to spend them. This is the allowance for the tribal ARPA funds to be expended for this purpose. This is not the bid for the ramp itself. That bid will be coming back to council. But we can't approve any bid to council or amendment to a bid without there being secured funds for such.
Well, why are you looking that up? Didn't we receive only one bid on this?
Yes, sir. There was very little interest in the project from the bid going out. We brought this to council originally requesting was it $56,000? Yes, $56,000 based on an estimate that was provided to us. And of course, I mean, we don't build ramps as a county department anywhere. We had to rely on a professional estimate provided to us to make the estimation for what the cost would be. Once the bid went out and it came back, obviously that estimate was significantly off from the cost associated with doing the sidewalk work, the redoing of the entranceway, and the asphalt work.
I'd just like to add, I think that was poor engineering. To give you an example, the Shah of Iran in the 70s had I think it was a 707 that was rumored to have golden commodes in it. I think this plan here is a golden commode.
I am not an engineer. I'm not, I appreciate that opinion, most certainly, but I don't have any way to know that if that is a golden commode or not. We know that there are required modifications for the facility for it to be ADA compliant, and if we put it back out to bid, there is a risk for it to be higher. That's not a threat in any way, but having only one bid that was interested in the first place. And I do feel like there has been some, especially by you, Mr. Hart, because you have more of a background and expertise in this, that there has been sentiment of over-engineering, and I believe that that's elimination of risk, or an attempt for engineering firms to eliminate potential risks.
So, Ms. Brock, you stated Tuesday night, we're not up against a deadline for designating these tribal
We're
ARPA
not.
funds?
You're not. Mr. Elliott, I would happily provide that documentation.
I'm just curious because of the internet and all the ways that folks can read books these days, other than going to the library, how much volume is still in a library?
So the last time I went to
Attended
the Seneca Library grant, was during Helene,
It's more than-
and there were probably 60 people utilizing the library at the time.
Yeah.
Now, that was during Helene, so there may have been more participants at the library because internet in their homes or whatever had been out. But the library was fully usefully functional at that time, and there were a lot of people in there. We went to the library to retrieve a key for the shower trailer that is at our daily rest. But it was pretty full the day that we went. Now, Blair does have his numbers. Our search function on the phone is not very good in here, but I'm happy to supply that report to provide in the backup for this.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we table this ordinance. Do we have more information?
Motion to table, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hart. Any discussion on the motion to table?
Yeah, I would add, to move to have, Blair come and just kind of do a overview of the libraries at y'all's strategic planning meeting next year, just so y'all understand. The library is, very well used across here. I know Westminster is especially, but I think Seneca is the most well-attended, so. But I think that would be helpful for council to kind of see the buildings and things like that. It wouldn't add a lot of time to that, so.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I wasn't sure if it's a motion meant to table, which would die, kill the ordinance next time if it's not brought up, or a motion to postpone.
Postpone.
So the motion is to postpone. Ms. Hart, you still second?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion to postpone? All right, here now, all in favor of postponing ordinance 2024-27?
Okay.
That's 5-0.
All right. Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion second, all in favor?